Right. Heaven is heaven. Talk to the reverend.
How was going on, Pink Diamond Nation? It's your boy Julian. It's time for another diary entry, guys. And today's diary entry is actually a review diary entry. And today I'm reviewing my favorite Disney original movie, man. Like, this is my favorite series of Disney all times. You know, it's bigger than, to me, it's bigger than High School Musical. It's bigger than Camp Rock. It's bigger than Teen Beach. I fell in love with this series of Disney. I love Disney. Disney can do no wrong. And this series, oh, I look bad today, but I don't care. It's hot. And I'm about to review this series. This series is dear to my heart, and I'm so upset that this is the last entry. Yes, guys, I'm talking about Descendants. Yes, I'm talking about Descendants. So this is my review of Descendants 3. So if you haven't seen Descendants, what? Like, it's coming on every day this week. This is Descendants week. It premiered August the 2nd, which was Friday, and it's been on twice the weekend. It's going to be on every day at 7 o'clock on the Disney Channel, so you need to watch it. If you don't have the Disney Channel, you need to watch it on Hulu. Actually, the DVD is out. Go run to your local store and get the DVD. Buy the digital copy. Do something. Watch the Descendants, baby. Oh my goodness. So actually, this is Descendants 3. Descendants 3. And let me tell you something. I am a big Descendants fan. I have the books. I have the dolls. I have posters. I love Descendants. Like, Descendants is my favorite Disney original movie series. I mean, oh my goodness. I feel like Disney made this series for me. I feel like Disney did it for me. It did it for me. I mean, so I'm finna give you a little recap of Descendants for those who don't know Descendants, and I don't know how could you not know Descendants. And if you know me, you should know Descendants. How could you not know Descendants? So let me give you a recap. So Descendants actually started in 2015. I think that's when the first Descendants came out, and it follows. I can't even talk. I always can't talk every time I do a blog entry. It follows the story of Mel, Jay, Evie, Carlos. Basically, they are the descendants of Disney's favorite villains, most famous villains, favorite villains, all my villains. You have Mel, which is the daughter of Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. You have Carlos, which is the son of Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. You have Jay, which is the son of Jafar from Aladdin. And you have Evie, which is the evil queen's daughter from Snow White. So basically, what Descendants is, it follows the story of the children of these favorite villains and the children of our favorite heroes. So I'm just going to give you a recap of the first two movies before I get into this review of the third movie. And if you haven't seen the first two movies, why haven't you been watching this Descendants? Oh, I know it's hot outside, but I just want to know why. I just need to know why. Why haven't you been watching Descendants? Ooh. But let me give you a recap. So we're going to start at Descendants 1, and we're going to give a review. There's also books. The books are Out of the Lost, Return to the Isle of the Lost, and Rise of the Isle of the Lost. Now, the Descendants books you don't have to buy to get the movies, but to know the backstories of some of these people and what I'm talking about, you need to read the books. Read the books, because I read them all and I have them all. Read books. Do everything Descendants. I know they're not going to make a Descendants 4 because this is the last in the franchise, but I wish they would make a Descendants 4. Also, I am going to do a discussion spoiler review of Descendants. So, just to let y'all know, it's going to be out there. Ooh, I really look bad today. I'm going to have to go. And I look like I'm 70 years old. Ooh, it's hot outside. So let me get on, because I get off track all the time. So let me get started. So we're starting with the first Descendants. So the first Descendants, like I said, starting Carlos, Jay, Evie, and Mel. Basically, what it is King Ben, not King Ben, Beast and Belle. So basically, the story is Beast and Belle from Beauty and the Beast. Basically, it becomes king of everybody. So basically, he's king of all the lands, of Aladdin's land, of Ariel's land, of all the lands. So he's king of all the lands. So when he becomes kings of all the lands, his act as king is he rounded up all the villains and the villain sidekicks and everybody, and he sent them to the Isle. And basically, the Isle is a place kind of like a prison for villains. It has no clean water. It has no clean food. No, they can't do their magic. It's all of that. That's basically what the Isle is. Let me get somewhere where I can get out the sun because I'm already in bed. So basically, that's where he sends all the Disney villains. So it turns out that the villains have children. The villains procreate. The villains procreate, which is sad because you condemning children that has done nothing wrong. So these children are on this Isle being condemned for what their parents did. And I love Descendants because of that. Not because of the kids got condemned, because it tells a story of how not to judge people. I mean, these kids are getting judged for not what they do in life, but what their parents did in life. How could you judge a child for what their parents did? They're not the same person, but pretty much they got judged for what their parents did. So basically, Ben, which is the son of Belle and Beast from Beauty and the Beast, decides, because he's going to become king, decides that he feels bad for the children on the Isle of Lost because it's not their fault that their parents was evil. It's not their fault that their parents decided to do this evil stuff and everything. So why should they get punished for what their parents did? So his proclamation was to give the children of the Isle of Lost a chance. So basically what he was going to do is pick 4, in which he picked the 4, which is called the Core 4, to come to Oradon, which is the place is called Oradon. That's where all the good people stay in Oradon. To start anew and live their life, to see like a trial basis to see if they can be good. And they also go to a class called remedial goodness class that they have to take just to see if they're really good and not evil like their parents. So basically, I'm trying to make the first one so basically, the parents, Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, Evil Queen, and Jafar decides to set up a scheme to use their children to break the barrier, because there's a barrier over the Isle so that the villains can't get out and they can't use their magic and all that stuff, to break the barrier so that way they can be free to do evil. So they use their children. But needless to say, because it's Disney and it's cool that the children actually become good and love their life in Oradon because they see how it is and go against their parents and everything and become people of the Isle. And that's Descendants 1. I mean, people of Oradon, not the Isle. They become Oradon people. And that's Descendants 1. And if you haven't seen it, I just did a recap. It might not be a good recap, but it's a recap. Go see it. Okay, this is Descendants 2. So this is how Descendants 2 starts. So Mel, like I said, it's Maleficent's daughter. She becomes Ben, which is King Ben from the last one, becomes his girlfriend. And the way she becomes his girlfriend was just really messed up. She steals Ben from Audrey because she uses Ben because Ben is becoming king and they're having like a king ceremony. And the only way for them to break the Isle, and I'm still talking about Descendants 1, the only way for them to break the barrier of the Isle is Fairy Godmother is the one that put the barrier up there. So they needed to get Fairy Godmother's wand and remove the barrier. And all the way they could do that because they don't use magic in Oradon as much anymore like they used to do, because it's more modern. Oradon is more modern. So at the coronation, when they crown Ben as king, what they do is Fairy Godmother uses her wand to crown him as king, and they was going to get his wand that way. And the only way they could get close to his wand is his girlfriend, which was Audrey at the time. His girlfriend, which was Audrey, and That's going to be a key point when I tell you about Descendants 3. His girlfriend, which is Audrey, which Audrey is Sleeping Beauty's daughter, which is Mel's mama nemesis, because Mel's mama is the reason why Sleeping Beauty went to sleep, you know. So they nemesis. But Sleeping Beauty's daughter, Audrey, was actually Ben's girlfriend, and she was going to be, if they stayed together, she was going to be queen and all that stuff. So, but she was invited to the coronation because she is his girlfriend. So what Mel did is she spelled Ben to become his girlfriend and took him from Audrey. And then Ben went to the Enchanted Lake and the spell wore off. But he was really in love with Mel anyway. But it just made him fall in love with Mel. My lips. But pretty much in Descendants 2, Mel is now Ben's girlfriend, and she is getting overwhelmed because Mel is trying to be somebody she's not. She's not a princess. She's mean. She's not bad, but she's mean. She's nasty. She's from the Isle. On the Isle, she used to be like not really the head honcho, because her mom Maleficent was the head honcho of the Isle, but she was the daughter of Maleficent, and she was mean and she was evil. And now she's trying to be this pretty pink princess and everything. And then like there's cameras and everything in her face and flashing and everything, because people are so obsessed with her because she's evil, but she's girlfriend to the king and all that stuff. And he is in love with the evil, supposed to be evil but now turned good, you know, all kinds of stuff. So she gets upset because she can't live, she's not being herself. She can't live up to being this person that she's not. So she goes back to the Isle. She goes back to the Isle because she feels like the only way where she could be herself is at the Isle. Well, if you read the books, see, that's why I say you need to read books. She has a nemesis, and her nemesis is my favorite person in Descendants. And China Anne McClain play her. China Anne McClain play Uma. That is my girl. Uma is my girl. Uma made me love Descendants even more. Like, I love Descendants when it first came out. I seen that. But Uma, ooh, Uma. Like, everybody knows that The Little Mermaid is my favorite Disney princess. My favorite Disney movie. I love The Little Mermaid to death. And just when they said China Anne McClain, which is one of my favorite Disney actresses, was playing Uma, I was like, oh yes, because that girl can sing. Like, I love every song that China Anne McClain sing as Uma, and oh my goodness, Uma, this is my girl. So basically the backstory, and that's why I said you need to read the books. The backstory between Uma and Mel is Uma and Mel used to be friends, and Uma is Ursula's daughter. So just to let y'all know, Uma and Mel used to be friends, but then Mel pulled shrimp on Uma and called her Shrimpy, and then they became enemies. So when Mel left the Isle, Uma took over the Isle, because Mel was over the Isle, but Uma take over the Isle, and which I love Uma. I love me some Uma. What's her name? Uma. So she took over the Isle. So when Ben found out that Mel went back to the Isle, because him and Mel had a big fight. So I'm talking about Descendants 2. So him and Mel had a big fight, and when Ben found out that that Mel went back to the Isle, Ben decided he need to go get his girl back. So he went, him and Evie, Jay, and Carlos went to the Isle to get Mel back. But in the midst of going to the Isle and get Mel back, Ben gets captured by Uma. And then Mel has to go back and fight with Uma and everything to get Ben. And then Uma breaks out of the barrier when they leave with Ben. After they save Ben, they leave with Ben. Uma breaks out of the barrier, and then they have an amazing fight scene, which, like I said before, Uma did not lose that fight. She just gave up, because at the end of Descendants 2, Uma didn't lose that fight. She just gave up, which makes me mad. And also in Uma's pirate crew, because she is a pirate, is Harry Hook, which is the son of Captain Hook, and Gil, which is the son of Gaston from Sleeping Beauty, from Beauty and the Beast. So that's kind of a recap of Descendants 2. Now we into Descendants 3. So this is gonna be a spoiler-free review because, like I said, I'm gonna have a discussion review, but this is actually gonna be spoiler-free because I wanted spoiler-free. So basically, Descendants 3. It's basically, so this is how Descendants 3 goes. So basically, at the end of Descendants 2, Evie seeing that how they left the kids on the Isle, because the whole point of Ben's program was to save the kids from the Isle, because the kids of the Isle, really, you can't judge nobody for what their parents did. So when Evie seen that, Evie got so upset because there was this girl named Dizzy, and Dizzy is the daughter of Drizella, and Drizella is actually from Cinderella. She is one of the wicked stepsisters, her daughter, and she seen how she looked up to Evie, and how she wasn't a bad person, but she was stuck on the Isle. And Ben never got the rest of the kids that he promised that he was gonna get off the Isle. So in the end of Descendants 2, Evie went up to Ben and was like, save these children on the Isle because it's not their fault that their parents were evil. Like I said before, it's not their fault their parents is evil. It's not their fault. So in Descendants 3, they decide to have VK Day. VK, and which VK stands for Villain Kids. VK Day, just like save, and what they were gonna do is every time they were gonna pick 4 VKs, like Ben said, and they was gonna bring back to Oregon, get them settled, and then pick 4 until they get all the kids off the Isle that they don't deserve to be on the Isle. Now, the way they did it, Ben put Mel in charge of getting the VK. So Mel, Carlos, Evie, and Jay, they were in charge of getting the VK. So they all picked 1 VK. So basically, the way it starts is they all pick 1 VK to come to Oregon. As they're doing that, Hades, which Hades is very important, which I'm gonna kind of spoil some stuff, which they already spoiled in the promos, which I hated that they spoiled so much in the promos, because like the big evil person, I hate that they spoiled that. I mean, I kind of figured out who the big evil person was, but I hate that they spoiled it, and I hate that they spoiled who Mel's dad. So Mel's dad is Hades. So Maleficent and Hades had a baby, and that's Mel. Boy, see, this is why I love Descendants. It's like Young and the Restless. Maleficent and Hades had Mel. So as they were leaving with the 4 new VK kids, Hades tried to come out because Hades said he don't belong there. In which Hades is evil. Yes, he is. He's evil, but he's a god, and Hercules really. I mean, he was evil, but like he was evil with a point. Like, I like villains. I'm sorry, I like villains. It's not because I'm evil. I like villains because it's whatever it takes with villains, and sometimes you have to do what you have to do. Not all the times. And villains don't have a code. Like, heroes always got to have a code, but villains don't have to have a code. They just do what they got to do, and that's why I like villains. And it's just something wicked about being evil. It is. Even though I'm a sweet person, but there's something wicked about being evil. But back to my synopsis of this story. So, as Hades tried to break out, Mel tried to stop him, but she wasn't that successful, but he didn't break out. So, coming back to Oregon, Ben's dad, which is not the king anymore, because Ben is the king now, says, hey, we can't have this anymore, because since we've been opening the barrier, because they're not supposed to be open the barrier, but since we've been opening the barrier, since they won when we opened the barrier, the first villain came out, which was Maleficent. She was the big bad of Descendants 1. She came out, we had to stop her. Then in Descendants 2, we had to stop Uma. Uma was the big bad in Descendants 2. Now Hades is trying to get out. You know, we can't keep opening the barrier because evil gonna come out, which I understand what he was saying, but it's crazy. And this is why I like Descendants 3, because it tells a big story. It tells a big story about there's evil in all of us. That's what Descendants 3 tells us. It's evil in all of us, and you got to give people a chance, and you can't just judge somebody. Oh, they do one thing wrong and you judge somebody. You think, okay, since this person is evil, everybody that's associated with this person is evil. It's not like that. I mean, it don't work like that. And that's why I like Descendants 3, because it teaches you that lesson. So, Mel made me mad. Even though I love me some Mel, and I know people that love Descendants and love Mel gonna hate me. I love Mel, but Mel is selfish. I mean, she's been selfish since Descendants 1. It's always been about Mel. And I know, like, Mel is the big main character, and I understand that, but like, Uma said it best when she said, you just look out for yourself. And that's why I love Uma, because she real, baby. She said you look out for yourself, because she did. She do, because she was the one that suggested that well, we need to close the barrier for good. And like, Ben was mad about that, because Ben was like, well, what about all the kids that deserve a chance just like you, that didn't do nothing wrong, their parents did wrong, that deserve a chance to come to Oregon and try to get their life better? What about them? And she's like, I know, but we got to protect the people of Oregon. But what about them people? Them people too. Them is people too. And so she just says to close the barrier for good and don't let nobody out, even though she promised all the VK kids when they was on that they was gonna be released. So, and this is where I say this teaches you that evil could be anywhere. So I'm gonna tell y'all who the big bad is, but because Disney spoiled it, which I hated that they spoiled it, and I hated that the way they went it, because the way it went about it, because my theory is how they should have went about it, and I'm gonna tell you my theory in this video of how they should have went about it. But so the big bad is Audrey, and Audrey is, as I said, Sleeping Beauty's daughter. So she becomes the evil person, which she is justified for being evil. And I know some people like, what? Why is she justified for being evil? Well, like I said, in Descendants 1, Mel spelled Ben and made him her boyfriend. So Audrey never got an apology for that, and then you just stole him from me. And then at the end of Descendants 1, he eventually fell in love. He was in love with Mel anyway, but she stole him from her. I mean, Audrey was in love with Ben. She wasn't faking the love that she had for Ben, and she just stole him from him. And then now, like in Descendants 3, you know, and it shows it in the trailer, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all, Ben asks Mel to marry him. So that hurts Audrey, because Audrey was supposed to be queen, and she was in love with Ben, and it's like, you taking my life. So she became upset. So she went to the museum, and the museum is where they have all, in Oregon, where they have all like the stuff, because like I said, they don't use magic as much in Oregon. Where they have Cinderella's glass slipper, Aladdin's lamp, Maleficent's scepter, and everything. So she gets mad and she steals the queen's crown, which is supposed to be Mel's crown when they marry, and she steals Maleficent's scepter. And Maleficent's scepter is already evil, so that turns her even more evil. So this is why I say I like about this, because in the Descendants world, they feel like you have to be a villain kid, or you have to be a villain in order to be evil. Now, Audrey was not a villain. She was supposed to say a good person, but she became evil, and it just lets you know that you can't control who is evil and who is good. So you have all these evil people locked up, and the evil is not one of them evil people. It's this good person that you so say is good. So how are you to judge these people? So she steals it, and she decides to make Oregon pay for what they did to her, and I don't blame her. Even though to me she went about it the wrong way, I don't blame her. Like, you hurt me, and nobody said I'm sorry, Audrey. Nobody said I'm sorry, Audrey. Like, we gonna hurt you and we gonna keep hurting. So the only way to defeat Maleficent's scepter, her power is from Hades, which is Mel's dad. So they go back to the Isle and to get Hades' ember. Mel, Jay, Carlos, and Celia. And Celia is Princess and the Frog. I forgot his name. Oh my goodness. Dr. Facilius from Princess and the Frog. Celia is his daughter. So Celia knows where his lair is, and she helps Hades. So they bring Celia because she is the one of the VKs that they picked to go back to the Isle to help them get the ember from Hades. So as they go and get the ember from Hades, Uma's goons, which is my boys, Gil and Harry, gets out of the barrier. So as they fighting with Gil and Harry, that's when my girl Uma show up, and the scepter, the ember, which is Hades' thing in order to defeat Maleficent's scepter, it can't get wet. So it was about to fall in the water, and then my girl with her crown, my girl Uma, comes up and she grabs it. And see, this is why I love Uma. Uma, yeah, she's a villain kid, but she has a bigger heart than Mel. Because Mel is all about herself. The only reason why she wanted to close the barrier, she says, to protect Auradon, but it's mostly to protect herself. That's mostly what it was. She liked her life in Auradon, and she don't want no villains to ruin her life in Auradon. So, because at the end she says it, and I don't want to get too much, but she said, I did this to protect us. She said that to Evie and them, and Evie was like, to protect us? You know, what about them kids that's sitting up there on this aisle that has nobody to protect them? But Uma, my girl Uma, is their protector. She thinks about the Owl kids. Everything that she did was for the Owl kids. When she stole the ember from Mel and them, she said, I will give you this back, and I will help you defeat Audrey if you let all the villain kids off the Owl. And then Mel lied to her, talking about, I will, knowing she was lying, knowing she was in it for herself. And just like in the Descendants too, she was in it for herself, like, because she knew why Uma was upset. Uma was upset because of what she did to her, and how they just left them on the Isle. Uma was not doing that because she wanted to become evil ruler of Auradon. She wanted to get off the island for the children to have a chance, just like Mel and them. But Mel was selfish and was like, I just can't. Mel makes me hate her. Mel makes me hate her. Even though I love you, Mel, you make me hate you, Mel. So back to the stuff. So Mel lied to Uma and told Uma that she was gonna let all the villain kids off the Isle to help her. So Uma went along with it, and I love it. They became friends, and Audrey was stronger and stronger, and Uma and Mel became friends again, because they was friends until Mel did what she did. And everything was going cool until the end, when Mel told them that she was not letting all the kids off the Isle. Then that pissed Uma off, and that pissed me off, because first of all, he lied to me, saying about, you had this opportunity. Ben gave you, Carlos, Jay, Evie, the opportunity to get off this Isle. And you're not going to give these kids the opportunity because you got to protect Auradon. Now that you out, you feel differently if you was on the other foot and you was in the barrier. Let me stop because I'm ranting. So Celia got mad because Celia and her dad, Dr. Facilius, were close. Even though he's a villain, they are close, and that's what I'm talking about. You say that villains are evil, but you have a villain saving Auradon, because Uma is saving Auradon. And in the movie, once you watch the movie, because I'm not going to spoil it all, but if it ain't for Uma, Auradon would be lost. And then if it wasn't for Hades, somebody else would be lost. And then even though Dr. Facilius is evil, he loves his daughter, and he would turn good for his daughter. And that's how it portrayed. But you judge them, and the real big evil is one of your own. So Celia gets mad, they get mad, and then I'm not gonna tell you the rest of the story, but you know it's gonna be a happily ever after. But it's just it tells you a lot about life. I love Descendants, and I wish they was making a Descendants 4. Rest in peace, Cameron Boise, though. I mean, it tells you a lot about life, and y'all need to watch it. And I mean, out of the Descendants, and I know people want me to rank the Descendants, my favorite Descendants would have to be, if I had to rank all three from Descendants to Descendants 3, it'd be Descendants 2, Descendants 3, and then Descendants. Now, I know a lot of people that say, what, Descendants 2? You know, I'm a big Uma fan. I love Uma. So the introduction of Uma and Uma's songs in Descendants 2 is the reason why Descendants 2 was my number one pick. Now, Descendants 3 is my number 2 pick because of Uma, the story. I love that Audrey is Eva, the story and everything. And Descendants 1 is the original, and I love it. I love it to death. It's original. Every time I see it, I cry and everything. And Descendants 3 made me cry too. But I mean, it's amazing. This franchise is amazing, and I'm so mad at the end. The only thing that I could say that I hated, and it's really not a hate, because I give Descendants a A++++++++++++, and everybody need to see Descendants 3. And then I'm having my spoiler discussion talking about Descendants 3. But the only thing that I hated about Descendants 3 was, like, this is supposed to be like the end of the story. This is supposed to be the end of the story, and I feel like it was an end, but it wasn't an end with a period on it. And what I mean by that is, like, let me give you an example. Like, High School Musical was favorite. I loved it, and I seen High School Musical 3 in theaters, and I felt like that was an ending with a period on it, because it was called High School Musical. Where can you go? I mean, you could follow them in college, but why would you? Because it's High School Musical. But it wrapped up everybody's story. And Teen Beach, I loved the Teen Beach, and Teen Beach 2 kind of wrapped up that story. And I feel like Descendants wrapped up some stories, but it didn't it wrapped up the big overarching story, and you'll see it once you watch it. And we'll talk about it in my spoiler discussion, but I feel like the little individual story, like, they didn't wrap up. Like, one of the big stories is Mel and Ben, and I feel like they wrapped it up. But what about Uma's story? Like, I feel like that wasn't all the way wrapped up. And like Evie and Doug's story, I guess you could say Evie and Doug's story is kind of wrapped up. I mean, Carlos' story is, I don't know, maybe you could say that's wrapped up. But like Jay's story, now I'm gonna have a video about the Jay and the Gil stuff, because Disney, I don't give a what y'all say, Disney, I peep your game. Y'all gonna know when I come out with that story. I'm gonna peep your game. I peeped your game. I peeped the game and what you're trying to do. I peeped that game, Disney. I peeped that game. But I just felt like it didn't wrap up all the stories. Like, it wrapped it up, and I loved at the end, and it was the end to the trilogy that I loved. Oh man, I'm missing Descendants already. I didn't see like Descendants like 4 or 5 times. But I feel like it wasn't like a big wrap up like I wanted it to be, but it was still wrapped up. What else can I say about Descendants 3? I love it. And in my spoiler discussion, I'm going to actually write it down, because I didn't write none of this stuff down. I just wanted to talk about Descendants 3. I will talk a little bit more in my spoiler discussion, but all in all, I love the Descendants. I love Descendants 3. I mean, I waited for this, and it exceeded expectations. Like Disney always do, no matter if it's Disney Channel, no matter if it's Disney movies, Disney exceeds expectations for me. I thank you for that, Disney. I love you. So y'all need to go see Descendants 3, and y'all need to do is go ahead and magically subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. Why you not subscribing? I'm about to get Maleficent's scepter, and I'm gonna get you. Why you don't subscribe? Share this video with your friends. Share it with your friends so we can talk about Descendants and everything. Share it with everybody. Go ahead and hit them notifications so you know every time I post a video. Every time I post a video, guys. Every time. follow me on my Twitter page. Follow me on my Twitter page and tell me how you feel about Descendants on my Twitter page. Tell me how you feel about Descendants in the comments. Let me know. I love you guys. I love you so much. I love you so much. Go watch Descendants. If you haven't seen Descendants, all this week, I know all this first week, they had, at 7 o'clock, they were showing Descendants 3 all the time. Watch it. Get to Disney Channel, watch Descendants. I love you. Peace out, guys.